Have you ever wondered why France, especially Paris, is always on everyone's travel list? The allure of France is undeniable. It's a country that's been romanticized in countless films, books, and songs. Its culture is enchanting, from the language often called the language of love to the delectable cuisine that has a reputation for being amongst the finest in the world. The iconic landmarks like the Eiffel Tower, the Louvre, and the Champs-Élysées are sights that many dream of experiencing in person. And let's not forget the French countryside with its picturesque vineyards, quaint villages, and stunning chateaux. France, it seems, is a destination that offers something for everyone. But like a beautifully presented dish at a fine dining restaurant, the surface is often more appealing than the substance. So, as captivating as France may appear, one can't help but wonder, but is the city of love and the French countryside really as perfect as they seem? One of the main challenges when traveling to France is the language barrier. The French language, beautiful, romantic, but oh so complex. France, known for its rich history and culture, is also notorious for its particularity about its language. The French take immense pride in their language, which, while admirable, can prove to be a hurdle for those who aren't well versed in it. Let's delve a little deeper into this. You see, in France, the language is more than just a means of communication. It's an expression of their identity, a testament to their rich history, culture, and traditions. This deep-rooted love for their language often leads to a preference for speaking in French over English. Now you may wonder, isn't English a universal language? Won't most people understand it? Well, while it's true that English is commonly spoken worldwide, in France, the scenario is a bit different. While many French people do understand and speak English to some degree, there's a tendency to stick to their native tongue. This preference can be attributed to various factors. Some believe that speaking English dilutes their cultural identity, while others simply find it difficult to switch between languages. There's also a certain expectation that visitors to France should make an effort to speak French out of respect for their culture. So, what does this mean for travelers who don't speak French? Well, it could lead to misunderstandings, difficulties in getting directions, or even ordering food. In some cases, it might even feel like a cold shoulder from the locals. But don't let this discourage you. While the language barrier can be daunting, it can also be an exciting challenge. It's an opportunity to learn a new language, to immerse yourself in a different culture, and to gain a deeper appreciation for the people and their traditions. Remember, every country has its quirks, and France's love for its language is one of them. So if you're planning a trip to France, consider learning a few basic phrases in French. It'll not only help you navigate your way around, but also earn you some brownie points with the locals. So, unless you're fluent in French, you might find communication a bit challenging. Another reason you might want to reconsider your trip to France is the overcrowded tourist attractions. Now picture this. You've been dreaming of that perfect selfie with the Eiffel Tower, or wandering through the grand halls of the Louvre, or even strolling through the lavish gardens of Versailles. But when you finally make it there, instead of the serene postcard-like scenes you envisaged, you're met with an ocean of people all vying for the same experience. The Eiffel Tower, that iconic symbol of France, often sees lines that snake around for hours, turning a dream visit into an exercise in patience. And the Louvre, home to some of the world's most famous art, can feel more like a bustling market than a tranquil gallery, as hordes of tourists crowd around the Mona Lisa, each hoping for an unobstructed view. Then there's Versailles, a place of opulence and grandeur. But its beauty can often be overshadowed by the throngs of visitors that fill its rooms and gardens, making it hard to truly appreciate its historical significance and architectural splendor. In essence, the popularity of these landmarks is a double-edged sword. While it's a testament to their global appeal and historical significance, it also means you're rarely going to enjoy these sights in peaceful solitude. The reality of these attractions can often be far from the peaceful experience you might imagine. France, particularly Paris, is known for its high cost of living. Now let's delve deeper into what this means for you, especially if you're a budget traveler. The first thing that most travelers consider is accommodation. In France, this is a significant chunk of your budget. A decent hotel room in Paris can set you back over 200 euros a night. Even a modest Airbnb apartment in a less touristy neighborhood will cost you around 100 euros. And if you're thinking of camping out, well, the average cost of a campsite near a city is about €30 a night. Moving on to food, French cuisine is world-renowned, but it comes at a price. A simple baguette, a staple of French diet, costs around €1. But if you want to enjoy a nice meal in a restaurant, expect to pay at least €25 per person, and that's not including wine. A bottle of decent red at a restaurant will set you back at least €15. And don't even get me started on general expenses. A single ride on the Paris metro costs €1.90. A cup of coffee at a sidewalk cafe? That's about €3. A ticket to climb the Eiffel Tower? It's a whopping €25. And if you want to take a trip to the Louvre, you'll be shelling out €17. In short, France is not a cheap country to visit. The high cost of living is palpable in everything from accommodation and food to general expenses. And while there are ways to cut costs, like cooking your own meals or using public transportation, it's still a significant financial commitment. So if you're traveling on a budget, France might not be the best choice. It's a beautiful country with a rich history and culture. But the high cost of living means that you might have to save up for a while before you can fully enjoy all that France has to offer. The French have a long-standing stereotype of being unfriendly and rude to tourists. Now, let's be fair. Stereotypes are often an exaggeration and don't represent every individual in a group. However, they can shape our experiences, and in this case, they may even add a layer of complexity to your travel plans. You see, the French are known for their national pride, their love for their language, and their distinct cultural identity. Sometimes these characteristics are misinterpreted as aloofness or rudeness, especially when viewed through the lens of a foreign visitor. You may find yourself at a Parisian cafe where the waiter seems dismissive, or in a boutique where the salesperson seems impatient with your broken French. It's not necessarily personal, but it can feel that way when you're thousands of miles away from home. Conversely, this stereotype can also lead to self-fulfilling prophecies. Tourists, expecting unfriendliness, may approach situations with defensiveness, thereby creating the very negative interactions they anticipated. It's a cycle that's hard to break, and one that can unfortunately mar an otherwise beautiful journey through France. Of course, this isn't to say that all French people are unfriendly, far from it. You're likely to meet many warm and welcoming locals during your travels, but these instances of perceived rudeness can taint the overall experience, making the trip feel less enjoyable than it should be. While this is a stereotype, it's something to consider when planning your trip. While France has much to offer, it's important to be aware of its downsides. As we've journeyed through this exploration of France's less glamorous side, we've uncovered some truths that might make you pause before booking that flight to the City of Lights. From the language barrier that could leave you feeling isolated to the overcrowded tourist attractions that can drain the charm out of your experience, there's more to France than meets the eye. Let's take a moment to reflect on the language barrier. France is a country deeply rooted in its culture, and that includes its language. If you don't speak French, simple tasks like ordering food or asking for directions can become a challenge. It's not impossible to get by, but it's certainly not the seamless, romantic experience many envision when they think of a French getaway. Then there's the issue of overcrowded tourist attractions. The Eiffel Tower, the Louvre, Mont Saint-Michel, these iconic sites draw millions of visitors each year. Unfortunately, this means long lines, packed spaces, and a frantic rush to see it all. It's not exactly the leisurely, picturesque stroll through a postcard that you might have imagined. And let's not forget the high cost of living. France, especially Paris, is one of the most expensive places to live in the world. Dining out, shopping, even just getting around can quickly eat into your budget, leaving you with less to spend on those unique experiences that make a trip truly memorable. Finally, we addressed the stereotype of the unfriendly French citizen. While it's important to remember that stereotypes do not define a group of people, it can't be ignored that this perception exists and can impact your experience. So before you pack your beret and striped shirt, consider these points and decide if France is really the dream destination for you. France has a great deal to offer, but it's essential to go in with your eyes wide open, understanding both the beauty and the challenges that await.